Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me? Okay, good. Okay. I don't know what the weather is where you are, but we had what you say in American 92-degree weather today. So I've de-tied myself. At least I took my tie off, so it's a start. Okay. Um, I want to start with a piece from Rav Mordechai Druk, who was the great Maggid in Yerushalayim. I think I've mentioned him before. I think his father was for many years many decades the Rav of Rechavia. Anyway, um, on the first pasuk of the parsha, he has a discussion about Birchas Kohanim, and we'll see how it fits in and why it fits in. Interesting machlokas of Achronim here. So im Bechukotai telechu, that mitzvotai tishmeru. If you keep my mitzvahs, va'asitem otam, and you do the mitzvahs. Okay, so in other words, there are preconditions here. We have to do certain things. If we do the mitzvahs properly, we do our Torah properly. And as Rashi points out, it's talking about amelul b'Torah, and we do all of these things, then we'll get a bracha. We'll get a bracha. If not, we'll chas v'shalom have the anti-bracha, which takes up the majority of the parsha. And I wanted to now let's see what he writes here. So he from this pasuk he goes into Birchas Kohanim, which is for a very good reason. So the title is Birchas Kohanim Hilelot Tanai Shel Im Bechukotai Telechu. The exceptional bracha that Klal Yisrael received, which is outside of the conditional bracha of Im Bechukotai Telechu, is Birchat Kohanim. Birchat Kohanim is a freebie. If we get Birchat Kohanim, then it's unconditional, unlike everything else. So let's see what that's all about. Okay, I think I lost you. Let me see if I can get back to this Zoom. Oy.
You're fine.
But I don't see anybody, so
We can see you.
you can see me. All right. Okay, I'm looking at a blank screen, but I'll just, I guess I'll have to do that once. There you are. Okay. Birchat Kohanim, Hilelot Tanai, right? Harokeach. The Rokeach was a Kadmon, and the Rokeach discusses going back to after the Rishonim. Omer me'im bechukotai ad komemiyut. Listen carefully. From the beginning of the parsha, from bechukotai until the word komemiyut, right at the end of the brachas, all the way. That's the most of the seder, right? So at the end of Shlishi, Ravi of the parsha, and the rest is just a few psukim each aliyah. Kol echad ve'echad chutz mi. So you have kol aleph beit chutz mi samech. You have every single letter of the Aleph Beit except a Samech. The Samech does not appear in the Parsha of Bechukotai. Now, so he says, the Rokeach says, now you understand the Rokeach was a big Mekubal, among other things. Ki kol brachot nitnu al tanai. All the other brachas were given on condition. Im yikayimu mitzvot, if we keep the mitzvot, chutz mi Samech Otiot Shebebirchat Kohanim, except for the 60 letters in Birchat Kohanim. So that's why the Samech is not there as representative of the 60 letters of Birchat Kohanim, which is unconditional. Ben kach u ben kach, Hashem yevorech et amo b'shalom ad kan l'shono. No matter what, with Birchat Kohanim, if we receive Birchat Kohanim, the Kodesh Baruch Hu blesses us either way. Katuv kan berokeach davar norah she'ein shum tanoim levirchat kohanim. An amazing statement from the Rokeach that there is no condition. It's an unconditional bracha birchat kohanim. V'gam im chas v'shalom lo mekayimim et hamitzvot mitbarchim kohanim. If we don't keep the mitzvahs, right? We don't keep any mitzvahs, but if we go to birchas kohanim, right? Could be why, people, particularly Chutzlars, people are very matbu. I have to get there for duchening. I must get there for duchening. You hear all the time the women say, I have to get it. I have to be there for duchening. There's always been this, and I really think that somehow it's a residue from this idea of the rokech. But let's see, did not go unchallenged. Hine b'sifrei Parshat Naso Isa b'zel loshen. The Sifrei says otherwise. Yivarecha Hashem b'bracha mefureshet b'Torah. We are blessed with the bracha mefureshet b'Torah. V'cheinu omer Baruch atah b'Iyar, Baruch atah b'sadeh. That we have in the brachas, we're blessed to the people in the city, people in the field. Bo elecha ala brachot ha'elav v'hasigucha imatai ki tishma b'kol Hashem elokecha. All the brachas in the Torah depends. We have to tishma b'kol Hashem. We have to listen to what the Torah tells us, right? Just can't get a bracha, right? V'omer hanetziv, the netziv brings in the emek to hanetziv shahasifri, that the sifri, the netziv has a pirush on the sifrei, right? Mitkavein lomar, means to say shedafka misha shomea lekol Hashem elokav. Dafka, necessarily, anyone who only someone who listens to the voice of Hashem, who zeh shemit barech birchat kohanim. He is the one that gets the brachas of birchat kohanim. V'zeh lechura delo kirokeach, and this is not like the rokeach. Shenoket she'ein tanoim b'birchat kohanim. Amnam hanetziv atzo maybe shazayit ranan cholek alav, but the netziv brings that the sefer Zayit Ranan is cholek on the Sifrei. Who's the Zayit Ranan, by the way? It's the Magen Avram, right? So let's see the next paragraph. Mamo sifim hakohanim b'virchatam, he writes. He titles this paragraph. What's something special about Birchat Kohanim? Hello, ben kol v'chol nitbaruchu Yisrael b'chol habrachot, that we receive a bracha unconditionally. So he writes here, Yalkut Shimoni b'Parshat Naso, ma'atik et divrei hasifrei. The Yalkut Shimoni brings the Sifrei. V'alav kotev ha-Magen Avram, and the Magen Avram writes the Pirusho l'Yalkut Zayit Ranan. He also had a Pirush on the Yalkut Shimoni, the Magen Avram, called Zayit Ranan. Shehuksha b'Sifrei, kivan shehabrachot mefureshet min haTorah, mefureshet min haTorah l'kol mi sheholech b'derech haTorah. It says clearly that you have to go according to the Torah. He doesn't understand what's going on. Im kain, ma hatzorach b'virchat kohanim. What is Birchat Kohanim accomplishing? Lekach katav ematai ki tishma shekol habrachot chalot dafka keshetishma v'titkayem et kol TORAH. Since all the brachas come to call Yisrael for keeping the Torah, aval b'virchat Kohanim ein tanoim. There's no conditions. V'zeh ma shemosifim haKohanim b'virchatam, and that's what the Kohanim are adding. Shehem mevorchim et Yisrael below tanai, below siyag, right? And this is, in other words, the Magen Avram seems to be going along with the Rokeach against the Sifrei. So let's see the next paragraph. Im kein nechelku ha-Magen Avram v'ha-Netziv b'pirush divrei ha-Sifrei. There's a machlokus between the Netziv and the Magen Avram in what the Sifrei is saying. Ha'im kishekatav ematai. When is this going to fall? Im tishma b'kol Hashem elokecha. If you listen to the word of Hashem, koi al shar ha-brachot. No, that's going on the other brachot. Oh, koi gamal birchat kohanim, or is it also going on birchat kohanim? No exceptions to the rule here. You have to do Torah, right? You have to do mitzvot. Umidiver rokeach mukach kemo shelamad ha-Magen Avram. But the rokeach and the way the Magen Avram is learning this, shebirchat kohanim chala gam keshelo shomim b'kol Hashem. This is very powerful because the Magen Avram is a very important posek for us in the pirush of the Shulchan Aruch. I saw an article not long ago, actually, in a Torah journal that the Balatanya, the Rav Shulchan Aruch, the first Lubavitcher Rebbe, who wrote a sefer Shulchan Aruch called Shulchan Aruch Harav, which, by the way, every posek in the world looks into the Shulchan Aruch Harav. He was an extraordinary posek, and he, during the first part of his life, when he wrote the Shulchan Aruch Harav, everything was based on the Piskei Halacha of the Magen Avram. And at the end, he had charota. And he went through in many areas, changing his psak, because he, for some reason, disagreed with the Magen Avram. Anyway, you see the Magen Avram, a very important person in terms of halacha for us, right? So now he asked something else. Hasifrei v'od rishonim. Before he answers the question, he's going to answer this. Hasifrei v'od rishonim hikshu al ma shene'emar b'birchat kohanim. But according to Sifrei, it's a very good question. How could the Netziv and the Magen Avram say that it's an unconditional bracha? Actually, in Birchat Kohanim, it says, Yisa Hashem panav elecha. Hashem will favor you. Shari Katuv lo Yisa panim, but it says you're not allowed to favor. Nobody is favored. The Rosh doesn't favor anybody. What's pshat in the bracha of Birchat Kohanim that Hashem, Yisa Hashem panav elecha. Hashem is going to favor you, right? There's no Nesiat panim, no favoritism. Ubechad mitirutzav omar Sifri, and one of the answers the Sifrei says, Kansha osim ritzono shel mokom, kansha ein osim ritzono shel mokom. No. When is there nesiat panav? When does HaKadosh Baruch Hu give you, his bracha, his nesias panim, gives you his good face? That's when you listen to him. When you don't listen to him, right? That's the Sifrei. Ulefi tirut zeh b'Sifrei. It is not an unconditional bracha according to the Sifrei, right? So what's the explanation? And this is where Rav Druk comes in. How is it possible that Birchat Kohanim works even if you don't do the mitzvot? So he says like this. Yes, how can that be? Efshar lomar al pi Gemara b'Megillah. He wants to bring up a Gemara Megillah, and based on this Gemara Megillah, he's going to build up an approach. The Gemara in Daf Yodchet, shemevia et hapasuk vayisa Aaron et yadav el ha'am vayivorchem. Aaron lifted up his hands and blessed the people. Vayireid me'asot hachatot, and he came down and he did a korban chatat. Now you should know this was the first Birchat Kohanim in the Torah, not the Birchat Kohanim that we have in Parshat Naso, where the brachas are given, but the first time that Aaron did Birchat Kohanim was with a korban chatos, with a sin offering. Right? He raised his hands and he did Birchat Kohanim. Umochicha bekach shebirchat Kohanim hi la'achar avodah. Birchat Kohanim, the proper place for Birchat Kohanim is after Avodah, is after doing the divine Avodah. For us, it's Tefillah, but for after the Korban, after doing the Avodah in the Beis HaMikdash. Umaksha Gemara asks a question, Lama omri mota la'achar Hodah. Why do we say it? Why do we say it after Hodah? Right? In our Shmona Esrei, we say it after Hodah. You have Avodah, and then you have Hodah, Hodah, and then you have Birchat Kohanim. Why? It should be right after the Avodah, right? Right after Ritzei. Mitaretzet, Gemara answers, Al Pi Pasuk, the Pasuk says, V'zevach Todah Yichpaneni, Yevach Todah Yichpaneni, you give covered with me by saying thank you, right? Shalachar Zevach Magia Hodah. After Korban, after serving Hashem, comes thank you. V'lama ma'adifim lismach al HaPasuk hazeh, why this bases it on this pasuk. Shemeasher al pasuk she'Aaron amar birchat kohanim miyad lachar avoda. But why don't you use the pasuk that we just quoted the pasuk that in the Megillah that he said the bracha, the birchas kohanim after the avoda, not after. Why? So why after hodah? Miyashevet, Gemara answers mistavra she'avoda v'hodah chadahi. There's some kind of a symbiotic relationship between avoda and thanksgiving, between offering a korban, thanking Hashem, approaching Hashem, thanking Him, reaching out to Him, and saying thank you to Him, right? Mikol makom, la'achar she'omar avodah v'hodah, but in any case, what you see here is that after avodah and after thanksgiving, kiyesh kan hachna'ah, there is a surrender, a subservience to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, v'hitpatlut lefanav, I surrender to Him, Yitbarach. Shahari Misha Mevi Korban, Mitvada Umodeh Shahaya roila hakrivo to atzmo. That I'm coming. You are the Rabbanu Shalom. Everything is in your hands. I'm coming to daven to you. I'm doing something. Azu nase kli lekabel et birchat kohanim. That's the kli that gives him the right to receive birchat kohanim. Now, what is he saying here? What is he saying here? He's saying that all the other brachas in the Torah, we have to do all the mitzvahs, right? We have to earn them. But there's a certain level of our commitment that it's enough, almost enough to say, to try, to serve, to do something to the Ribono Shel Olam, and to say thank you to the Ribono Shel Olam. That opens up a world of bracha from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. In other words, why is Birchat Kohanim in the Shmon Esrei? By the way, why is Birchat Kohanim in the Shmon Esrei? Right? At all? Why is it there? And in a sense, it should be after the avoda, right? It's part of avoda. It was given by Aaron as part of the avoda, right? But it's after Hodah. So again, the Gemara he brings this relationship between avoda and thanks. You do avoda, you say thank you. The Ribono Shel Olam rewards us with a bracha. I mean, look at Hallel, right? Hallel is all about thanking the Ribono Shel Olam, praising the Ribono Shel Olam, right? All of a sudden, what do? Ana Hashem Hoshiana, Ana Hashem Hatzlichana. Because when you thank the Ribono Shel Olam, it opens up the opportunity for us to ask for something, and that he gives us a bracha. And what's the bracha that he gives us? Sim Shalom. Now, what is Sim Shalom doing here in the brachas of Hodah, Thanksgiving? Remember, these last brachas in the Shmon Esrei are Thanksgiving. Sim Shalom has more bakashas than any other bracha in the middle 12, 13 brachas. Sim Shalom of bracha, etc., etc., etc. There are more requests in Sim Shalom than in any other bracha in the middle of the Shmon Esrei. So, what does it mean, right? So the answer is that saying Sim Shalom is Hodah. It is Hodah. It's expressing the fact that I understand. There's a recognition. There's a recognition that everything is up to you, Ribono Shel Olam. Everything is up to you, and I submit to you, and that opens a door for bracha. That Hodah, saying thank you, opens the door for a blessing, and we know that. We know that in life, in interpersonal relationships. You say thank you to someone, right? It opens up a door to a relationship. After thank you comes a bracha, and this bracha is kind of unconditional. So that is what the Rokeach is saying. The Ribono Shel Olam says, listen, of course you have to do all the mitzvahs. Of course you have to learn Torah, right? But listen, I cut you slack. You're humans. Make an effort. You make an effort, you come to me, the bracha is yours. I give you brachas just for making an effort, right? Of course, we have to go further, but that is the beautiful nature, according to the Rokeach and the Magen Avram, of Birchas Kohanim. Very powerful. Now, go to page 3 because there's something else. There's something else. There's something else here about this samech, right? We're not finished with this samech. Remember that the Rokeach is a Mekubal, and he started out by saying this is all about the 60 words of the 60 of Birchat Kohanim, right? Representing, that's the samech that's missing, right? That was missing in Bechukotai. So that's the brachas that it's unconditional, right? There's another time in the Torah where the word samech is not mentioned. If you look in the first parak of Bereshit, by the creation of the world, right? The entire first parak of Bereshit Aleph, creation of the man, the creation of the world, has every single letter of the Aleph base, including the end letters, right? The Sofit letters, right? 27 letters. They're all there, the exception of one letter, samech. There's no samech, right? Also, another thing to point out, there are only 2 letters in Torah, that's two psukim in Torah that begin with the letter samech. Why is that? What are those 2 psukim, first of all? One is a pasuk in Bamidbar, right? Where it says, slachna la'avon ha'am hazeh ki godol chasdecha. Moshe pleads that to forgive the Jewish people, right? That's a samach. That's one pasuk with a samach. The other one is sur mehar maher, su maher, right? By what? When Moshe is pleading by the Egel for forgiveness, right? So the word samach is related to sin. It just is related to sin, not because sin starts with a samach in English, right? So what's pshat? What's the problem with the letter samach? So I once heard from, I saw actually in a mimer from Rav Moshe Shapiro, that's all, where he discusses the letters of the Aleph Beis. The letter samach. The letter samach is a circle, right? Everything in our physical world, the main components of the cosmos are circles. The earth is a circle, the sun is a circle, the moon is a circle. Everything is a circle, right? In the physical world, everything is a circle, right? Now, what does that mean? What is a circle? A circle is, I don't know. Maybe I'm dating myself, but there was a very famous musician by the name of Harry Chapin. I don't know if anyone knows who he was. He was a gifted musician.
Famous.
Pardon?
I can remember Harry Chapin for sure.
Okay, good. So he wrote at one of his. He was killed in a car accident going to do a concert for tzedakah. He was a very big charitable person. All of his money went to charity. He was not Jewish, but he was from the Chassidim Masaolim in many ways. He was a gifted songwriter, and one of his songs was the circle. My whole life's a circle, sunrise to sunset. And basically the idea of is this it? We get up in the morning, we take care of our physical needs, we eat, we sleep, we do this, we do that. We go through mitzvahs melumados. We're not thinking. That's what the circle represents. There's no beginning, there's no end. Life is just a big circle, right? I once heard from somebody who said, why are the hand matzahs made in a circle? And he gave some sort of I don't know where he got it from, but I don't know if there's any, I think the square matzahs have much more meaning, right? The four corners of the earth, and there's a center, whatever. I don't want to go there, but that's what a circle represents, right? A circle is like the circle of life, that's not the way we're supposed to live the life, running around in a circle. That's what we're running away from with the samach. And let me just do the number 3 on the third page. Go to the third page because it kind of dovetails into this piece. It's a short piece from Rav Schwab, and he, on a pasuk in the parsha, v'hitvadu et avonam, part of the TORAH, that v'hitvadu et avonam, we'll do tshuva, right? That avon avotam, and the sin, the missteps of our parents, b'malam asher ma'alu bi, va'af asher hochu imi bekeri, but you're going to go with me bekeri. What does it mean to go bekeri? Happenstance. We just go through the motions, right? Go through the motions. Afani elech imam bekeri. That's how I'm going to deal with you, bekeri. Heveiti tam ba'eretz mit oivehem, az yichne levavchem hara, va'az yitzed avonam. You know how you're going to really do tshuva? When I respond, mita for keneged mita, you go with me according to Kerry, going in circles, I'll deal with you the same way, right? So he asked a very good kasha. They did tshuva. What do you want from the Jewish people? V'hikshu kol meforshim. Everybody asks here. Shim kvar hitvadu et avonam. If Klal Yisrael did tshuva, that avon avotam, and they did tshuva for themselves and for past generations. Lama amar kodesh baruch afani elech imam bekeri. You know what? I'm going to deal with you also. Happenstance. Kerry is like happenstance. Matter of fact. The lama eino mekabel tshuvatam. Why didn't he accept that tshuva? So Rav Schwab says, kind of a bristling comment. He says, v'yitaken lefaresh. I want to suggest, shari b'chol parsha mevuar, shikar achet shelehem hu halicha bekeri. It's mentioned numerous times in the TORAH. The biggest avera of the Jewish people was Kerry, was happenstance, was just not really plugging into Rabbi. I always say the purpose of this world is to have develop a personal relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, of course, based on Torah and mitzvahs, but to have a personal relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You can't have that if everything is happenstance. You just go through life without a cheshbon, right? A circle. Va'amna, keshemitvadim al chatam, v'hitvadu et avonam ve'et avon avotam, Va'af asher holchu imo bekeri, but they also went bekeri, even though they did tshuva. Ki'ilu halicha bekeri utainet tzaddik. It was like a PS. They did tshuva for everything they did, and PS they also did tshuva on Kerry, right? It's a kind of a side thing, right? But that's not the just for Kerry, it's just the opposite. It's the essence of our misstep in having a relationship with the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Ulezeh tovei mehem HaKadosh Baruch Hu shidvadu al ha'ikar b'torah ha'ikar. He demanded, this is what you got to do. You got to understand this is the essence, right? Get out of that circle. Jump out of the circle. Lahakir et omek hakilkul shel halichatam bekeri. To see that the travesty, the sadness, the danger, the unfortunate, you're going nowhere. Zeu shorish kol hachatayim shalem. This is the shorish of every sin. And finally, he quotes from Morana, Rav Shamshin Raphael Hirsch, quotes from Hirsch, that's all. Amar Bezeh, he said, Shekain hi amida, that's the midah. She'im b'nei Yisrael holchim bekeri. If we're going bekeri, birish sheholchim b'darkam, v'oskim b'chol inyanei ha'olam hazeh, u'lefamim b'derech mikra, sometimes, once in a while, mizdamein lehem safik esek avodat Hashem. Sometimes they'll daven with a little bit of kavanah. Right? We'll make a bracha with a little bit of kavana. We'll give a little stock until it hurts, right? Whatever it is. Kain oseh lehem HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Mida keneged mida. That's what the Rebbe Hashem is doing to us. Harehu osek b'hatava l'kol ha'olam. He's busy giving good to the entire world. Uli'itim rechokim, but sometimes b'derech mikra. Harehu meitiv gam Yisrael. Sometimes he throws a bone to us also, right? Afani elechi man bekeri. Also, you don't want to deal with me bekeri? I'm going to deal with you bekeri, right? V'zeh davar nifla li'it bonein b'darkei Hashem. Now, I'm not making any applications here to our situation today, but one thing is for sure: those people in our world, in the faith community, in the Torah world, that are throwing stones at Chilonim, it's all because the Chilonim are not involved in Torah, and they built a country and they're not emphasizing the Torah. I bristle when I hear it, because really, I think a lot of the direction should be coming in our direction, because we're not doing enough. But I'm not a Navi. I'm far from it. I'm not a Chacham. I'm far from it. I'm not going to go there. But I think the emphasis that has to go on our process ourselves, based on this idea of the missing samech at the beginning of the Parsha, and the missing samech in the Bechukotai, and the samech of the chesed of our Rebbeinu Shalom, that even though we don't deserve it, the Rebbeinu Shalom gives us the bracha, and how fortunate those of us who live in Eretz Yisrael are that we have Birchat Kohanim every day. So get the minyan every day. Okay, let's go to page 2. This is a piece. It's a much longer piece, but it comes from the latest sefer that was put out from Rav Yonasan David. I've done things in the past from Rav Yonasan David was the one and only son-in-law of Rav Hutner, okay, who we many times learn Rav Hutner's Torah. Rav Yonasan, a very, very special Talmid Chacham, needs a refuah shlema. Rav Hutner, at the age of 70, came to Eretz Yisrael when most people start to think about retirement, and he built a yeshiva here, Pachad Yitzchak in Yerushalayim, and Rav Yonasan is the Rosh Hashiva of that yeshiva. His Rebbetzin David, Zichrono Livracha, who passed away a year ago, was the dean of BJJ, Beis Yaakov Yerushalayim, which is really the Harvard of Beis Yaakov seminars. Rebbetzin David was the only child of Rav Hutner. She was an incredible person. She had a doctorate from Hunter College, from Columbia. You could say the word Columbia today, Hunter College. And very special people, very special people. So here in the latest, this sefer is on from Pesach until Shavuos. It's on Sfira. So I took out a piece here, a little bit of a piece on Sfirat HaOmer. He asks a few questions at the beginning and comes out with some answers. Let's see where he goes with this. He quotes a pasuk on Sfira, first of all from Devarim. We just had Emor, we had the mitzvah of Sfira a few weeks ago, but Shiva Shavuot tispor lecha mehachel hermesh bekama. Right, you count 7 weeks. From where? From mehachel hermesh the comma when we begin the crop of the standing. The comma is the standing grain. When the crop is standing, the beginning, that's when we start counting, right? From Pesach until Shavuos, right? When we have the standing grain, right? Comma, right? The sickle, hechel, when we begin to put the sickle, the chermesh is a sickle, on the standing grain. Now, Nilmad, Shebirchat HaMitzvot, this is a Rosh. He's going to quote here a Rosh, and the Tur brings us the Tur Shulchan Aruch. Shebirchat HaMitzvot, Mivorchen Ba'amidah. When you say a Birchas HaMitzvah, you're supposed to stand, right? We stand, we know that. When we do Birchas HaMitzvah, we always stand, right? Where does that come from, right? Al Tikre Bekama, Ele Bekoma, right? You don't say but standing grain, kama, say Bekoma, standing. You have to make the bracha when you stand. Kilomar Ba'amidah. The Rosh, the end of Psachim, and it's the Tur Shulchan Aruch. Also, Tur Shulchan Aruch brings this in Siman Ches, actually in Hilchos Tzitzis. He brings it. Okay, bevadai isha nidrash ktsat tfisa b'zeh. We have to get our handle on this. Number one, ma'u hakesher ben hamavuar b'pasuk I can't read what it seems to be out of here. What does it say? The what is the, what's the nexus between the drasha by bringing the Omer, Sfiras Omer, bringing the Korban Omer, and standing for a bracha? Why is Dafka here, right? Khan, why here? Why is this idea, this great noble idea that we stand for a Bechara Mitzvah, why is that brought by the bringing of the Korban HaOmer, right, in the counting of the Omer? But so more than that, the time of boy, Lama Nilmod Inyan Zed Dafka Khan, the mitzvah tzvirat omer. Well, he says, no, first of all, what's the drasha? Why dafka here? But gam tzarach biur lama nikvu chovat ha'amida. Listen to this question. Al birchat ha'mitzvah v'lo letzem kiyamis. Why is there a concept to learn out that you have to stand? There's a famous drasha. You have to stand for the bracha of the mitzvah. Why not a bracha? Why not a limud? Why we don't stand it for the mitzvah itself, right? Kasha b'halo davaru. So two kashas. Why are we learning it from here? What's the connection between the Sphira and the Omer, and why the bracha of the Omer, right? Okay, so, where's the Birchas HaMitzvah, by the way, where does it come from? The Gemara in Bracha says that until the Anshe Knesset Agdola, everybody made their own bracha. There was no text. You didn't have a text of brachas. You didn't go to the section in the Siddur after Shacharit to check out the various brachas that we're not that familiar with, right? Everybody said their own bracha. Right? But something happened during the period of the Anshe Knesset Agdola. What happened during the period of the Anshe Knesset Agdola? Rome happened, right? So, Bizman Anshe Knesset Agdola, hayat kufat mimemshalta shel malchut Yavon. It was a very terrible time for us. Shahayu, the Greeks, began with the Greeks. Shahayu shkuyim bechachmat hateva, hanira le'ayin. They were very busy with chachmat hateva, period, with science. Rationalism. That's what they were involved in. Kemoshe Katava Ramban. The Ramban in Vayikra writes, Al Hayoni Hayavani Asher. He's talking about Aristotle, but he actually quotes Aristotle. In Greece, Rome, it's all comes together. The Ramban quotes, he dealt with only things that in his world, that he could confront. Right? Ve'egis daitahu v'talmidav harishoyim ki kol inyan shelo hisig. Anything they didn't understand, anything that was did not have physical reality. Hu b'svarato einenu emet. It's not true. Truth is in the physical world. He was a rationalist to the nth degree. Right? Rationalism was the enemy of Torah. Right? Now, tell me the Rambam was a rationalist, so there's a way with Aristotle, there's a way to synthesize the two. We're not going there tonight, but this is the purity of pure rationalism is the enemy of Torah, right? So this had a tremendous impact, a terrible impact on Klal Yisrael. This period of Greek and Roman, the period of the Anshe Knesset Agdola. High time, and because of this, Ba'otosman, Tiknu Lomar Nusach Baruch Hashem Elokei Yisrael Min Ha'olam V'ad Ha'olam. They began to say Baruch Hashem. This bracha they would say as an amen to a bracha. Baruch Hashem Elokei Yisrael. Blessed is God from world to world, from this world to the world to the Olam Haba. There is not much more to this world, to the cosmos, to God's world. It's not just this world, it's his world. There's a spirituality beyond rationalism. From this world below, Olam Haba Elyon, to the world of truth above. And this was contra the Sadducees, who said there's no such thing as Olam Haba. Okay, now that gets us to brachas. But kasher ro anshe knesset agdola sha'olam kfar lo omed b'madrega zu when the Anshe Knesset Agdola, the men of the Great Assembly, when they saw the ones who wrote our Shmon Esrei, right? These great Nevuim, they were Nevi'im, right? Mordechai was amongst them, right? So they saw what was happening. V'niya olam shel chochmat hateva v'rationalism, and that there was a tremendous power to science and to rationalism, without going into, of course, that science plays a very big part, a very big role in Torah. We understand that. Physics, we're going to learn physics in Olam Haba. Believe me, we're going to learn physics in Olam Haba. But they didn't see it that way, right? So, Vishalta az ruach kfira aminu. So there was tremendous kfira and apicorsis and hereticism, moving away from divinity, from Torah. So the Anshe Knesset Agdola established a bracha for each of the mitzvahs that we perform. Why a bracha became very important. A bracha is a key. By making a bracha, you're attaching, right, and recognizing that the act that we're doing, the act of, remember we said, the essence of this world is to develop a personal relationship, not with the acts that we do, but with the Ribono Shel Olam, right? So by saying a bracha, by pausing and saying those words, Baruch Atah Hashem, etc., Shetzivanu, we attach ourselves and we become aware. It's not just a dry physical activity, but when we do a mitzvah, it impacts in all the worlds above this world as well. When a person wraps tefillin on his hand, when a person takes a lulav, or light Shabbos candles, right? Roadim, the whole world, all the worlds of the universe, God's universe shake. A mitzvah has reverberations throughout the universe when a Jew does a mitzvah. And it energizes with holiness into the entire creation. And all of the spiritual world. All of this in the power of a bracha, of saying a bracha, right? I'm just going to interrupt very quickly. The Vilna Gaon was thrown into the jail for a very brief time. Every Hasidim all know that Lubavitcher Rebbe was in jail, that Balatani was in jail, and there's a Yom Tov the day he got out, and so on. People don't realize that the Vilna Gaon was also in jail, right? Not at the same jail, not at the same time. But when he was in jail for a short time, they threw him in, and he was in there with the worst kind of people. So he was in jail, and they threw in a pail of water, and there was a Yid there, right, sitting with the Vilna Gaon. And he went to get the water, and he took the thing, and he's about to drink, and the Vilna Gaon says, listen, make a bracha. Make a bracha. He says, Rebbe, if you only knew what I've done in my life, I'm going to make a bracha. He said, listen to me. That after 120 years, Rabbi is going to ask you many things, but he's also going to ask you, why didn't you make a bracha on that glass of water? Or why didn't you have kavanah when you made bracha? The bracha is a key, right? Okay, I'm just throwing that in. Shal yedei birchato mikasher hamaisa im shoresh hashefa ba'olam. When we make a bracha, we are attaching that act that we're about to do with the entire universe, with the entire Klal Yisrael. We're demonstrating that bracha will have significance in the entire world. Baruch Atah Hashem, etc. She'ein kan stam ma'isa yavesh. It's not just a dry physical act. Ela ma'isa shepoel b'chol zeu habra. That Inyan, that's the bracha. Next column, the Maral. He quotes a Maral here. Now we're done with bracha. Let's get to Omer, right? The Maral Mevarer Tochen mitzvat hakravat haomer. What's the essence of bringing the korban haomer? Maybe divrei Chazal, and he brings a word from the Chazal. Du inyan shel hakoras hatov al kol hateva. It is appreciation to the Rebbeinu Shalom for all of nature, for Mother Nature. We accept Mother Nature. We accept science. We accept the world that He's given us. But we understand that it comes where it comes from, and we thank Him. We thank Him. That's what the Omer is all about, is bringing that korban, right? Ki ha'adam yashan al mitato. The farmer sleeps at night. V'hakadosh Baruch Hu ma'ale ananim, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu brings clouds. U'mashiv aruchot, and He's mashiv that brings the wind. U'matzmiach hatfua, and the rains come, and the tfua grows. V'haya makom lachshov, and the farmer wakes up. You think shekach hu teva ha'olam. This is the way it works. This is Mother Nature. V'shahakol me'aleh naseh. Happens by itself. Carry, happenstance. Right. That's our theme tonight. V'zeh bo mitzvat omer, comes along mitzvat omer to tell you nothing is happenstance, nothing is carry, everything is run by the Rebbeinu Shalom. Ka'akor hatova al kol hanaseh. We have to have hakor hatov to the Rebbeinu Shalom for everything that happens in this world. V'akor shegam mahalach hateva, even the working of gravity, nature, right? Hakol hu miyado shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu shemanhigo oseh hakol. He does everything. Agarin hanizra ba'adama, the seed that sprouts in the ground. So meach v'oleh klapi malad, grows tall. Ama, that's where he's getting at. V'chein b'ktzirat ha'omer, when we cut it off, yeshna hadgasha shel ma'achel ha'chermash ha'charmesh ha'bekama. We take the standing grain, right? The bracha is the standing. Kimosha adam kam al raglav, just like a person stands up in the morning. Nami b'tfua tzomech, just like that, the tfua is standing. Hama, begam nitzava, standing tall. Ubezeh makirim anu mevinim shahakol ba al yedei koach elyon milmala. P.S. Why do we have a name for the Shemona Esrei? What's the name of the Shemona Esrei? Amidah. Why is it called Amidah? Well, first of all, it's 19 brachas, and we now know we have to stand for every bracha. But I think there's something much more to that. The emphasis here is on it. It's bringing out what the 19 brachas of the Shemona Esrei are all about. It's Amidah. It's standing up. When a person's standing, he is, in a physical sense, is as high as he can be from his own personal physical effort. Can't get any higher than standing up with his head on top and his physical body below, right? Mehachel chermash bekama, when the sickle hits the standing grain. Tochen mitzvat hi ha'akara, is the awareness shahakol kam ubo al yedei koach elyon milmala. Everything comes from the Rebbeinu Shalom. U'mi'atan avi, that's where we stand up to recognize. Davka, kan, here, shenirmaz inyan zeh shel chovat ha'amidah b'shat birchat ha'mitzvah. So davka here by the Omer, that's what the Omer is all about, right? To recognize the standing, to recognize the source, right? And to plug into the source, dafka here, the whole Indian of bracha, of standing for bracha, comes. Ki kasher ha'adam omeid al raglav, when a person stands up, hari bezehu mafil koach zeh shenimtza bo, he exercises and activates that koach to kolel shnei chalakim. Man is fit two parts. Gam chelik sheshayach leolam hazeh, his physical body, haynu guf adam v'tviyoto, asher mitzad zeh shava hakol lebalei achayim, that's life, the physical life. V'gam hamayla hayechida sheyesh, hayetera sheyesh lo, the superiority of man, right? Koach haseichel, v'rosho, his head, his mind. Sheponeh klapi mala, which is looking upwards, right? Hachelik sheshayach leolam haba, which is shayach to the upper worlds. Leolamot elyonim. Al yedei hakoma zekufa, from standing up straight, like a person has to stand when he says the brachas of Shemona Esrei, right? Kol zeh nikar, right? Mehachel hachermash b'kama, mikan shebirchat hamitzvot ba'amida. From here we learn birchas hamitzvos are standing. Finally, halimud kan hu dafka lebirchat hamitzvot below leguf hamitzvot. It's about the bracha. It's not about doing the mitzvah itself. The bracha, the key is the bracha. Ki birchat hamitzvah hi habitui. It's the key, lahakara, of awareness. Zu shemaisa mitzvah eino stam maisa yavesh be'alma. It's not stam, just a simple word. And I urge you to go slow with Baruch atah Hashem. There's so much there, so much Torah there. Baruch, the source of the word Baruch, is we bend the knee. Bereh, also the fountain. I'm not going to go into it. We speak to God atah. we speak to him. We can be personal with him, and then we step back. We say Elokeinu. We speak to him in the third. There's so much there. Take your time. El afal shekiyum mitzvot hi al yedei maisim tivim v'cheftzim gashmin. The mitzvah that we do, that's physical. That's physical. Whatever mitzvah we're doing, take that lulav, and whatever mitzvah we're doing, right? And making kiddush, it's all physical reality, right? But the ikar of that physical mitzvah, that physical exercise and mitzvah that we're doing is really to bring out the spirituality of it. That's in the bracha. Everything we do has the potential to spiral upwards. Tochen mitzvah zu shel omer. This is the essence of omer. That's what omer is all about. Mehechel hachermash v'kama, when the sickle hits the standing grain. Ulechein habrachot shenitaknu nitkanu k'dei levatek al tzorach b'yot b'amidah nilma dafka mikan. The brachas that we have to say, and we have to say them standing, we learn here from the standing grain. Okay, thank you all for sharing these beautiful thoughts together. Share them at your Shabbos table, or before, or even after. The Halakha SHIUR on Wednesday. What were we doing on the Halakha SHIUR on Wednesday? Yes. Friendly fire. Taub, right? Friendly fire, which we've seen so much of. Does a soldier have to do tshuva? Does he have to get a kapara for killing by accident in a war? That's what we're going to talk about, the Halakha.